Hey guys, it's me Sylvia back with another video. Welcome back to my channel. So today we're gonna be doing a makeup challenge. We're gonna be doing my full face of makeup using wet makeup brushes, like soaked in water makeup brushes. I did get this idea from Michael Finch. I thought it was such a cool original idea. I definitely want to try for myself. So be sure to check out his channel. But yeah, we're gonna see how it goes. Anyways, before we get started with the video, make sure you are subscribed to my channel. All you have to do is click that red button down below to subscribe, and I drop 2 videos a week. You don't want to miss out on those. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So I already primed. Let's get right into foundation. I'm gonna be using Warm Beige, Peach Perfect. I'm gonna be boring and use the same stuff because it's gonna be interesting enough using these brushes. I'm not trying to test out new products too. You feel me? So I have the cup of water. Hello. It's like a Snapchat filter. So let's dip my foundation brush in there. This is from Bobbi Brown. And Michael in his video was kind of like wiping off the excess water. So that's what I'm gonna do too. It's not cheating, people. He did it and he thought of this challenge. So it's allowed. I'm playing by the rules here. So this is what the wet foundation brush looks like. It's completely soaked with water. I feel like I shouldn't use as much as I normally do. Since the bristles are wet, it's probably not gonna soak up too much product, you know? Oh, lovely. It literally just got swiped away into the brush. So I was wrong. I definitely need to use, if not more product than I normally use. Where the hell is it going? I don't even know. Why did I wear white? Oh my God. The brush is literally just swiping away all the product and then it's like disappearing in the brush and giving me the most sheer coverage from a full coverage foundation. I did not expect this. Maybe stippling will help. Okay, the stippling technique is definitely a lot better, but you can see it's still way more sheer than it's ever been. It's also way shinier than it's ever been. That wet brush is giving us a dewy look here. Let's try applying directly on the brush, see if that makes a difference. So I might have to go out with this, so I hope it doesn't turn out that bad, or at least like the skin I can work with, you know? Okay, I feel like it's better when I put it directly on the brush. Still, it's very streaky. Wow, okay. I was really concerned at the beginning, but now that I'm like finishing up the whole face, definitely sheared it out though. So let's go back in with a little bit more to try and cover up my scarring here and dark spots. Honestly, it looks flawless. Like it doesn't look patchy. It didn't end up looking streaky after I kept blending it for a while, and I'm impressed. Is it a new wave to apply your foundation with a wet brush? I don't know, but it worked out for this foundation. It looks the same as if I were to apply it with a beauty blender. Maybe I used a little bit more product. I can't really tell. But let's move on to concealer because since we're gonna use wet brushes with our eyeshadow, there's likely not gonna be any fallout, so we don't have to worry about ruining our concealer. So I'm gonna use the Lancome Ultra Wear High Coverage Concealer in the shade 250. So I'm gonna just apply directly from the tube under my eye, on my nose, forehead, chin. And we're gonna soak the MAC 227 brush, nice and wet. That's what she said. Literally just wiping off enough for it not to be dripping on my lap. Whoa, whoa. It's like a paintbrush. It's definitely making it more of a high coverage because there's absolutely no product being buffed into the brush here. It's just being swiped around. What am I gonna do with all this product? Houston, we have a problem. There is so much product and I feel like the more I dab, the more product appears. How is this possible? Please tell me. Also having difficulty blending it into the foundation. Oh no, blend. Let's go back in and use the wet foundation brush to try and blend it into my foundation better. Now we're just lifting the foundation underneath. Okay, this is actually helping though. But it's literally just sitting on top of my skin. It's not blending into my skin at all. I'm stressed, I'm stressed, look it. I honestly don't know how I'm gonna fix this. It's really just not blending away. It's completely covering up my foundation. It just keeps spreading. It's like a disease. We might honestly have to go back in with the foundation after this. I have like 7 layers of makeup on. It's completely wiping off my foundation. I'm about to give up. Let's go back in with more foundation and try to blend. It's a cycle. I have to put more foundation to cover the concealer and then the concealer and foundation is just being completely wiped away. This is a disaster. Okay, so literally after 15 minutes of just blending and switching between those wet brushes, this is what I could do. It's still a disaster in my mind because the concealer just like took over my whole face. There was absolutely no blending it away. Like it was just blending out and over everything. So definitely my face is a lot lighter than I wanted it to be. Every time I like switched to the other brush, it would like lift and move around the foundation. So it was very, very difficult to get like an even application. And I also feel like I just have like 10 layers of super thick makeup on now. Not off to a great start. Let's move on to brows. I don't have a brow powder product with me because I'm in LA and I don't have all my makeup here. So I'm gonna use a MAC eyeshadow in the shade Cork. So I'm gonna wet my MAC 226 angled brush. And you guys know I don't normally even like to use powdered products for my brow. I find it makes them look way too thick. thick and like drawn on because my brows are so thick already that using powder in them just makes them look blocky. I'm not trying to have a block brow, people. Okay, so it's filling it in just fine. Let's see if I can make my brow a little bit longer in the front like I normally like to do. Create the shape on the arch. Not bad, not bad. Honestly, so far it's applying like a normal powder kind of product. Maybe just a little bit more pigmented right off the bat. Let's see if I can extend my brow at the front here like I normally like to do. Not too bad. Okay, so the product is on both brows. Normally at this point, I like to brush them out with a spoolie brush, which I'm gonna do, but I guess I gotta wet it. Dip in the MAC 204 brush in there. Hopefully this doesn't just completely take away all of the product that we put in there, but let's see if it blends it a little bit. So that actually is helping blend the product in a little bit. A wet spoolie brush doesn't really make a difference. It makes my brows look like I set them though, except it definitely won't stay like that since it's just water. Honey. Okay, brows not looking that bad. But you see they're like very dark and very thick. So that's what a powder does to me. Moving on. So now let's use some eyeshadow primer. This is Soft Ochre Pearl Ombre Paint Pot from MAC. You guys know I use this in like every video. So dipping my small little paddle brush in there. The 165 brush from MAC. Now let's dip that in the product. Great. I'm gonna ruin like all my makeup with this. And by the looks of it, there's just like water droplets sitting on top of the product. So I don't know how it's gonna really apply on the lid. Oh, it's just sliding right off. So it's definitely not giving us a thick coat. And you can see there's like water droplets literally just sitting on top of it. The primer is not as thick either because of the water in it, I guess. I almost want to use my finger to blend it. Is that allowed? So my eye's just gonna stay wet. Lovely. So let's move on to eyeshadow, the part that I'm most worried about. We're gonna use the Huda Beauty Textured Eyeshadow Palette Rose Gold Edition, which I don't know why, because I love this palette and I might ruin it right now, but it is what it is. So let's dip the MAC 239 brush and give ourselves a brow bone highlight with Moon Dust. Do you guys see this? It's literally going on like a paste. Wow. That's so intense. I love it. Kind of hard to blend out though. I'm telling you, wet brushes really just spreads that product all around without blending it really. All right, so far not bad. The brow bone highlight is popping. Now for the tricky part, a transition shade. Let's dip my MAC blending brush, the 217. Oh my God, I'm ruining my palette. You guys, it actually just looks like a paste. Like I'm gonna apply paint on my lid. Okay, let's start way down into the crease and then try and blend it up. Oh no, it's so wet. It feels so gross. We have enough for both eyes. Oh my God. Okay, when I like put my brush sideways, it's kind of letting me blend with like the wet bristles that don't have that much product on. It's getting everywhere, you guys. Let's move my lash extensions out of the way. There's still so much product on there, but this doesn't look that bad. It actually blended out. I'll have to do one more dip in there, which I'm kind of scared because if one dip did all this, I don't need that much to finish up here. My little technique of using the sides of the bristles with no product to blend it in is really helping because it's like pushing it in. What the heck? Okay, let's move on to the next shade because my mind's kind of blown right now that I was able to blend that out. But you guys have to see my brush after all that blending. It's not looking too good. Let's use a smaller blending brush now. This is from Juvia's Place. It's more slender and tiny. And let's go in with henna. Oh no, this is making me so sad. I'm cringing doing this right now. I'm gonna apply that on the outer corner. Not bad. Have you guys seen this? How is it applying like normal? Is my brush not wet enough? Let's dip it in one more time. Okay, now it's literally dripping. My lid is actually just so wet right now. Let's do some on the other eye. That is just so pigmented, it's like too much. How am I gonna blend this out? Let me go back in with my other wet blending brush. Not helping, not helping. Dab, 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 dab. Swipe, 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 swipe. So it's helping for sure that the colors are so alike because you can't really see where one ends and the other starts. So they're blending pretty nicely into each other. And after I'm going over it a bunch of times and switching between the two wet brushes, like it's kind of blending into each other. All right, not bad at all. Now I'm not doing a crazy complex look. Let's just go right in with a shimmer shade all over the lid now. Let's go in with Angelic right here. Let's dip my ColourPop flat brush. It's literally just moving around all of that eyeshadow. My brush is fully loaded. That was satisfying. That was satisfying. I feel like this is the one time you would want your brush wet just to really get that color payoff. So this is working out wonderful with this shade. It'll be hard to blend it like into these matte colors though. What the hell? That actually looks so bomb. Michael Finch is actually so genius because the look is turning out okay so far. And I'm promising you guys, I'm like keeping the brush soaked. So it's not even the fact that my brush is just like drying as I'm applying because it's not. It's soaked the whole way through. Not bad. We got a nice shimmery little rose gold lid. Let's bring that transition shade to our lower lash lashes. Now it looks like our concealer is creasing a little bit. I could not set it with a powder. I feel like that would just be a mistake to do with a wet brush. Okay, hit the like button on this video just for the fact that I definitely ruined my eyeshadows in this palette. Did it for you guys. Now because the shimmers are coming out bomb with a wet brush, let's do an inner corner highlight. Wetting my pencil brush, the MAC 219 brush, and going in with Moon Dust again. Line those inner corners. The eye look actually turned out fine. How? That being said, like I didn't do a completely complex, crazy eye look, but I ended up being able to blend out the matte eyeshadows. Don't know how. The shimmers turned out even better with the wet brush, so no problem there. My face is looking majorly cakey though, and it's creasing because I can't set it with a powder with a wet brush. So moving back onto the face, let's contour. We're gonna use a cream contour. I'm gonna cream contour using the KKW Beauty contour stick. We'll do bronzer side and then contour side. I'm gonna wet the brush that goes with the kit. Now let's get to blending. Oh, that's really wet. It got on my white shirt. No, it's dripping. So now I have a water droplet on my face. The show must go on. So it's kind of removing my foundation. Am I going crazy or is that actually blending pretty nicely? No, it's starting to get splotchy. It is just not working out with that foundation. Maybe because that water droplet is taking it all off. So you can see where that water droplet started and like ended. You know, everywhere else kind of looks okay. So let's do the other side. The brush is still wet, but it's just not dripping like the other side. So maybe it'll turn out better because the foundation was definitely ruined on the other side. Oh yeah, but still for some reason, the foundation right there is coming off. So this side's a mess, super splotchy. This side's a little bit better, but you can still see like the foundation is not even at all. Now let's try using a powder bronzer over top. Maybe it'll help fix the patchiness. Maybe it'll turn out crazy. We'll see. I'm gonna use a super fluffy BH Cosmetics 16 brush. We're gonna wet that. Oh my God, that's lovely. Let's dip it into the ABH contour kit. We'll mix a little bit of this shade, a little bit of this shade. This could be the end of this look. Let's spread that out to the other side. Oh my God, the brush is just so wet. No. The look is ruined. The look is ruined. So because it's so hard to blend out, it's literally just a brown line on my face. Lovely. Ew, look how wet that, look at that. That makes me want to vomit. I spoke too soon. After the eye look, I got too cocky and now this is a tragedy. But we still got our forehead to bronze. Let's try. We need to darken up my face anyway because of this super light concealer that played us. I mean, at this point, I want to just give up because that looks absolutely terrible, but we'll carry on just for the sake of the video. My face is so wet right now. It feels so gross. So let's move on to blush. I'm going to use the Too Faced blush in the shade Love Flush. Let's dip my blush brush, the MAC 168 brush. It's another fluffy brush, so if the bronzer was any indication, this is not gonna turn out well. Here we go. Oh my God, it's so pristine. I don't wanna ruin it, and yet here I am. Oh my God, it's going on like a cream blush. Holy, that's so much, that's so much, that's so much. Too much. Let's take some, put it over here. Let's dab. It's getting so splotchy, but it's definitely not as bad as the bronzer. It's going everywhere. It's going out where my highlight is meant to go because it's just not blending in. Okay, so it removed some more foundation right there. Lovely. Let's see if I can use the wet foundation brush to try and salvage this area here that got really scary. No, looks like it's just wiping it away some more. Let's put on more foundation on the brush and try to cover up that splotchiness here. Now we're on like layer 7 of foundation. So applying more foundation definitely helped. It's looking so cakey now and still pretty splotchy. I'm doing everything in my power to try and make this work and it's just still really scary. Moving on to highlighter. For highlighter, let's use Champagne Pop from Becca Cosmetics. So let's wet the AOA Studio F19 brush, which is my go-to highlight brush, in our nasty water. Now this highlighter is already super blending on its own, so I'm sure with a wet brush, it's gonna be absolutely insane. Let's see. Oh my goodness. It's literally like paint. It's so pretty. My face is already so dewy. Oh, wow. Cupid's bow, chin, nose. So highlight is on it. That was definitely my favorite part. It turned out so good and even more blinding. My whole face is dewy AF and I'm living for it. Minus the splotchiness and the super thick layer of everything. Now last step is lips. I'm gonna use the Anastasia lip palette and I'm gonna dip the lip brush in there. This is honestly just probably gonna be so slippery, but whatever. Let's mix these two shades together. So the same thing that happened with my eyeshadow primer is kind of happening to this, where the water is just sitting on top of it and not blending in, you see? It's just sliding around, really difficult to get the product on there, and it's definitely applying a lot more streaky. Okay, so I'm completely done. This kind of concludes the finished finished makeup look. Overall, right now, like looking at myself, it doesn't look that bad, especially since like my hair is kind of covering my splotchy, nasty bronzer cheeks. That's definitely where it went all wrong. But overall, I am kind of impressed to see that I could kind of make it work. My face makeup feels the most disgusting though, because I had to use so many layers of foundation. It's so splotchy, and it also took so much longer to do my whole face because I had to spend so much time blending. But my eyeshadows, so shocked that I could actually blend those decently well. It's only when you look like super close up that you can really see like my under eyes creasing, because I couldn't really set with a powder, otherwise that would turn into like a paste itself, you know? So because I couldn't set my face, I do have like this really nice glow, which I'm digging, but I have like a lot of creasing, and the whole foundation layer is like so thick. So I hate that, but like it doesn't look that bad from right here, from far away. I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you didn't subscribe yet, don't worry. You can subscribe by hitting this little circle right there, and then check out these other videos of mine if you want to keep watching. That's all for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye guys. Bye.